That is absolutely right, everyone. It is KOPN Columbia, 89.5 FM, and 4 o'clock Saturday afternoon. Time once again for Open Mic Radio. Welcome to the show. We're going to get it rolling with one from our featured artist today. His name is Thad Requet. We're going to hear from Thad. Scott Donegan, yeah. Scott Donegan joining us very shortly, actually en route. So without further delay, let's do it. This is Open Mic Radio, and this is also Thad Requet.
I was just a teenage boy, thought I had it all. Fell in love at 16 years old. Boy, did I take a fall. That girl, she broke my heart, split it right in two. Man, I fell apart, didn't know what to do. Something about that first love you never seem to forget. Seems like yesterday, I have no regrets. I was living and learning in my younger days. Running with my friends every Saturday night, cruising down the avenue, trying to get things right. Hair draped over my eyes, hanging along in the back. Blue jeans and white t-shirt, sunglasses, they were black. We thought we were something, thought we had it all. We wouldn't stop for nothing, we were having a ball. We were living and learning in our younger days. Tonight Main Street is empty, no more Saturday nights, nothing but the memories under those street lights. Where did they go? Lord, I wish I knew. Man, it's hell to get old, but what else can we do? We thought we were something, thought we had it all. We wouldn't stop for nothing, we were having a ball. We were living and learning in our younger days. In our younger days. In our younger days.
All right, there you go. Welcome to the program, everyone. It is Open Mic Radio, Saturday, the 17th? I lose track. Yep, 17th of August. Great to be with you all this afternoon. Wonderful Saturday afternoon, actually. Lots of great music in store for you for the next couple hours. A few friends stopping by, as they might do. Yeah, I'm glad you're with us, all right? We do this most every Saturday afternoon from 4 to 6 p.m. Live music and interviews with some of Missouri's finest musicians and bands. My name is Mike Hagan, and I'm joined, as usual, by my good friend, Kind Kurt.
Hello, Tadaloo, Otterville.
I love it. All right. Who'd you welcome today? Otterville.
Otterville.
Man, I didn't know they were even around here.
Yeah.
All right.
When
Anyway,
you'll miss it.
Kurt's here. I love it. Memphis Chris is back in the
Thanks for
house
listening.
after a little bit of a hiatus. Hi, Chris. How are you, brother?
What's up?
Quick hi. All right, good. We got Clark in the house. We got Thad Requet with us. Scott Donegan. I'll get that eventually. It's such an easy name, and I'm an Irishman, so I shouldn't get it. But
You're getting mine right. I'm just happy about that.
yeah, Requet, no problem, man. All right, Scott Donegan joining us shortly. But that's what we do. Okay, we feature awesome local and regional music and the artists who create it. So welcome to the program. Weather is outstanding today. I just absolutely love it. Middle of August, and it's been so pleasant. And
You're a lizard.
huh?
If you're a lizard, it's one.
No, it has not been that hot. You people don't remember what hot was, all right? Anyway, really nice out there. Hope you're finding a way to enjoy it. I'm looking forward to the show this afternoon. We've got Thad Requet with us. We're going to get some songs from him. And we probably some recorded stuff as well as some live stuff here in the studio. I'm thinking Dylan McCord is probably going to stop in and say hi. I'm expecting a call from the Hoot and Hollers. Actually, they're on the road right now in middle of Kansas somewhere, but they're just beginning their promotional and supporting tour for a new record that they released about a
Rock opera.
A rock opera.
Rock
legit,
opera.
right? The
Yeah,
Devil's
totally.
Egg.
The Devil's Egg.
The Devil's Egg. Brand new music from the Hoot and Hollers, and it really is. It's like a rock. It's a rock opera.
Last Saturday.
In fact,
Out came the show.
Kurt, get this honestly. So I was talking with John, and I
It
didn't
was
talk.
an awesome show, actually.
No, I'm talking about what we're going to do here at the station, right? So John and Andy agreed that they would like to. Of course, Kelly, I didn't talk with her because she's in St. Louis, but if we can find a Saturday that's appropriate, we'll get the Hoot and Hollers here, and they'll perform the Devil's Egg, the whole album here at the station, and we'll record it and do a live thing with it. So that is something that
Sounds like we could mesh up with a bummy Easter.
right? Maybe, yeah. But anyway, we're going to do it. So I'm really looking forward to that. Hoot and Hollers on the road with their new record for the next couple of weeks. But yeah, check them out for sure. It's called The Devil's Egg, and it's like it's a rock opera.
It really is.
It's very start to finish sort of record. You listen from the beginning and through the end, and
Very well done.
And there's a story that's told throughout the whole thing, along with a bunch of really
debuted that
solid music.
Last Saturday.
You were there at the show.
At the Rose.
Right?
That I was. You know I love the debut.
I know you do. All right. Speaking of debuts, the last time we were on the air it was a couple weeks ago. Big Cat Bat was last week, but
Every second Saturday.
yes, that's
this
right.
time slot.
That's right. But
Rockabilly.
But on the third, we had a fantastic show. We had performances from Zawata, which is Paul Meyer, Dylan McCord, and Forrest Wilson. Ken Baker was here, performed a couple songs. Nathan James, a.k.a. Hardy but Hardly.
No.
Right? That's his sort of performance thing. Robbie Burt was here. I ran into Robbie Burt on Thursday night in St. Louis at the Factory. We went and saw the Turnpike Troubadours, which is one of my favorite sort of country-style Americana bands. Nice and band. They were absolutely outstanding. And I ran into Robbie Burt down in the lobby there. And of course, he was chatting with this guy named Tyler Halverson, who was one of the openers for the show. Yeah. I'll tell you what, this kid, Robbie's on top of it. We keep our eyes on him.
I heard it was a good show.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was a lot of fun. Danny Schmidt, we had an artist from Nashville. Actually, he's an Austin-born artist who makes his home in Nashville now. But we had Danny on the phone a couple weeks ago and played a couple of his songs. Really
He played last night
at Compass.
At Compass.
Yeah.
Yep.
So another outstanding artist. King Theodore Records was here. Jesse was here. Anyway, yeah, a bunch of great songs from local artists who are outstanding. All right. So, all right, a couple more things, and we'll get back to the music here. Big thank you to Peter Rabbit, grooving on the one mic, making the one mic work. Peter Rabbit from 2 to 4.
Do something about this mic.
Hey, your mic's working fine. Hey, oh, you're talking about me, you dick. All right. That's funny. I can say that. I'm getting better with my swear words on the air. I actually say the ones that are allowed.
You mean
anyway.
you Richard?
Richard Fitzwell. All right. Anyway, a big thanks to Peter Rabbit, grooving on the one mic, 2 o'clock till 4 o'clock. All right, awesome R&B and the best in hip hop. Really, the latest, greatest, the hits and the new stuff. So, and I'm forgetting how I should know. It's like the latest and the legends. Yeah, the legends and the latest in hip hop. That's the way Peter plays it, and it's great stuff from 2 to 4. Right before that, Morgan and a Motherland Jam from noon to 2 every Saturday. Wonderful music from across the continent of Africa, and Morgan does it like nobody else. Okay, Chris takes the helm after us. Actually, no, it's Rashumba and a reggae. I thought maybe you wouldn't hear. Anyway, Rashumba and a reggae party coming at you 6 o'clock until 8 o'clock. Put your dancing shoes on.
Someone say Rashuma?
You did. You said it louder than I did. Anyway, Rashumba 6 to 8, great stuff. Reggae roots music from 6 to 8, and then Chris takes over 8 to 11 with blues on Broadway. Awesome stuff throughout the night here on KOPN. All right. Okay. Thad Requet here. Scott's on the way.
Scott just rolled in on the motorcycle.
Scott rolled in on a motorcycle. We're going to get him in. Maybe he'll bring this cycle in the studio here, like we would do in the 60s. They actually do it, right?
I think Heather's letting him in right now, as a matter of fact.
Well, why don't we play a recorded piece then, and we can say hi to Scott, and we'll play something off your record,
all right,
and then we'll come back and chat with him a little bit, and we'll get you guys set up in the studio here, okay?
Sounds good.
All right, it's Open Mic Radio, KOPN Columbia. If you want to be a part of it, 573-443-8255. I'll open the phone lines here for a few minutes. 443-8255, 443-7380. Either one of those will get you here, get you here to the studio with us, and yeah, but that's what we're going to do, right? Have some fun and listen to some great music this afternoon like we do on Open Mic Radio, okay? KOPN.org, MikeHagan.com. You got an idea for what you want me to play here?
Let's do Chasing the Moon.
Chasing the Moon. All right, this is from a record that was recorded 2023.
Yeah, April 23.
So
we're actually started a new project.
Yeah, but I mean this is very recent material, right?
Yeah.
So okay, let's play it and then we'll come back and we'll find out a little bit about this music, okay? All right, it's
Chasing the Moon.
Chasing the Moon, Thad Requet. Check it out.
The heat of the night, riding along on that big highway alone, just you and I, stereo thumping, window down, racing down the road on the edge of town tonight. You're such a beautiful sight, you ain't gotta feel worried tonight. I'm gonna hold you till the morning light. We might sleep through morning till noon. Tonight we're facing the wind and chasing the moon. Your life and I've got mine. Other people and problems bring us down. But not tonight. Now it's just down to me and you, and no one can tell us what alright. I wanna forget about wrong and right, and hold you in my arms so tight. The moment always ends way too soon. Tonight we're facing the wind and chasing the moon. Tells me you are. Let me pull you close to me. We could go so far, chasing the moon. Oh yeah. Oh. Till the morning light, and we might sleep through morning till noon. Tonight we're facing the wind and chasing the moon. Oh yeah, just chasing the moon. Girl, we're just chasing the moon.
Wow, check it out. All right, Thad Requet. You're listening to it here, Open Mic Radio, KOPN Columbia, 89.5 FM. We are streaming on the web at kopn.org. Thrilled that you're with us all this afternoon. And, yeah, like we usually do, we got an afternoon of music for you all. All right. Once again, big shout out to Peter Rabbit on the one mic from 2 to 4. Great show this afternoon. I love that song at the bottom of the 3:30 hour, bottom of the 3 o'clock hour. It was... Never Say Never. Really super cool. So anyway, great stuff on KOPN all the time. And remember, you can support this project on the web at kopn.org. You can donate securely anytime you like there on the web. Okay. And that's how we keep it rolling here. Okay. All right. So for today's show, we have an outstanding singer-songwriter. His name is Thad Requet. He's joined by a man named Scott Donegan. We're going to learn a little bit about these guys, but maybe we can talk them into playing another song before we do that. See, I beat you to it, Kurt, because Kurt usually tells me that I talk too much and that we don't do enough music because I get too busy jibber jabbering.
We do plenty of music.
Yeah. So we'll get another song. We'll get a song from these guys. See, I even surprised them. They're like, "Oh shit, we gotta play." But once again, it's kopn.org, and the website, for the historical stuff is mikehagan.com. Just go to mikehagan.com and click on the big Open Mic Radio button, and you can go and check out or download any of these historical programs, the old shows that we've done over lots of years now, and some really outstanding performances from wonderful artists that have been coming and going through here for a long time. So anyway, Thad Requet with us this afternoon. We got. I'll ask Thad and Scott a little bit about their relationship and how they started playing music together after this. But let's get a song from them here first. So, you guys want to do one for us, Thad?
Yeah, this one's called "If You Love to Rock and Roll." And I'll just tell you at the beginning, this song when I play out live, I tell people this song about every line in this is true. I was one of those guys that kind of hung out after a show and was lucky enough to meet people. Probably the biggest was Johnny Cash.
Oh man,
at the old Silver Bullet out north of town here.
Oh my gosh.
And met John Mellencamp. Lucinda Williams at the Blue Note.
You got a song with one of Mellencamp's drummer, at least one song. I think
with Kenny Aronoff, his old drummer. We'll tell you that story here.
Okay.
But and then one of the cool moments was drinking a beer with John Prine at the Missouri Theater after a show in '96 or '97, something like that.
Wow, another.
So that's what this song is about. And so, some of them I say I talked to, I met, and others I said I saw or I heard. So like when I say I saw Neil Young, I didn't meet Neil. I saw Neil, but the ones I talked to and met, I really talked to and met. So this is called "If You Love to Rock and Roll."
I love it. All right, check it out. It's Thad Requet, Scott Downing, Open Mic Radio, KOPN Columbia.
I've seen the Rolling Stones, I met the great Johnny Cash. Played a little gig called the Neighbors Bash. 30 years of rocking and I'm trying to catch on. Maybe I'll get it right before I'm gone. Lucinda Williams hugged me outside the Blue Note. I've seen Bob Dylan more times than I know. Greatest education comes from a rockin' amp. I'll never forget the night I met Mr. Mellencamp. Well, if you love to rock and roll, they say that you're a sinner. Got a telly and a Strat, both made by Fender. Ain't nothing like a bass drum bouncing through your chest. And I've been blessed to encounter all of this. Turn the page, saw Merle Haggard sing the working man's blues. I've even seen Poison Rat and Motley Crue. I drank a beer with John Prine after a show one night. Shook hands with Todd Snyder, and that was alright. Hung out with Jacob Dylan and the Wallflowers. Met Ray Wiley Hubbard in the after hours. Well, if you love to rock and roll, they say that you're a sinner. Got a telly and a Strat, both made by Fender. Ain't nothing like a bass drum bouncing through your chest. And I've been blessed to encounter all of this. Talked to Steve Earle in the alley one night. James McMurtry tried to teach me how to play it right. I've seen Willie Nelson, and when he passes through, I met his son Lucas and Shooter Jennings too. I talked to Hootie and the Blowfish back in the day. Met Melissa Etheridge as she made her way. Saw Neil Young singing Old Man. If you love the rock and roll, they say that you're a sinner. Got a telly and a Strat, both made for Fender. Ain't nothing like a bass drum bouncing through your chest. And I've been blessed to encounter all of this.
that train without wrecking it. That's always a good thing, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the big call. When do we stop it, right?
That's right.
All right, it's Open Mic Radio. We got Thad Requet, Scott Donegan with us. Live music in the studio. We're going to play some stuff from a record, actually, that was recorded about a year ago or so, maybe a little bit longer. But Thad Requet, Hope for a Better Day. Scott, did you perform on this record? I haven't looked at the liner notes.
I certainly have. I certainly did.
I certainly.
What we ended up doing was when Thad came to me. I can't remember. Are we ready to tell a story how we met? Or
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah,
can't remember. Well, how did we do that? Was it John?
Yeah, I think so.
So it was a
Blaine.
mutual friend, musician between two of us.
Someone who we might know.
You guys don't know John. John's played at the open mic night at.
Grab that mic a little bit closer if you don't mind.
John.
You can pull it toward you.
Okay, John's played at open mic night at the Como Music Swap there at the Dive Bar. He's done that more than once, and he's a great songwriter. And but yeah, we're mutual friends, and John and I went and heard Scott's band play one night in Hannibal, and then we got to talking afterwards.
That's where you're from, Scott?
I used to play with John in an old band, and I'm from Hannibal area. Yeah, not originally, but that's where I grew up.
Do you perform with another project?
So I'm constantly involved with solo to small band projects. One's right now with my mother and my sister.
Wow, cool.
We don't have a real name or anything going up, but she's in her just trying to do that project because it's family right now.
I love it.
With everything else going on, I've been it's a lot to do the band stuff, like a full band going out and playing, scheduling, etc. I think we all understand that.
Yeah, I mean, you got a bunch of musicians around here, so no doubt. Yeah.
So I have enough time to dedicate to Thad. So when we met,
how did you guys meet?
It was through John.
Yep.
And
through
it
John,
was because I used
Oh,
to.
I'm sorry. Yes,
So
right.
John was responsible for getting me on stage after a classical upbringing through high school, jazz, classical, and trumpet. And then I got out of high school and met John through some sort of intermediate.
So you were a trumpet player
originally
before you began to play the guitar. Yeah,
classically trained.
All right, all right.
So he showed me what it was like to do the rock stage stuff. That pushed it forward, and then about 15 years later with John, he introduced me to Thad. I love Thad's style and the wheelhouse and everything. I liked him as a musician in person. He showed me a couple songs. I went, man, I hear stuff happening behind the rest of that. Let's do something.
Yeah,
and one turned into two. Then he said I got 5, and then it turned into 10. And I ended up doing all the drums, the bass lines, most of the lead guitars.
Oh, wow.
He produced it.
I did it all in my studio on
Matter of fact, I'm not even on it.
He just sampled my voice and then did the rest of it.
And then I had
so Scott, super talented. You got the whole card game here. So
Yep.
so you also do recording and engineering and sound editing and all that
sure
stuff.
do.
Okay.
I sure do. Yeah.
What's your musical background?
Just
Like,
taking private lessons through tutoring.
Family,
through
though? Like,
nothing, not like that. Mom could sing gospel and bluegrass kind of stuff, so I learned harmonies and melodies and how to use my vocal line.
And where are you from originally?
Originally from California.
California. Northern, southern, where?
Near Los Angeles. It's
Okay.
Covina area. It's
Yeah,
about
Southern Cal.
northeast. So,
Interesting.
Yeah, and so all that happens just in a room the size of this on a computer, which you guys are used to. It's the same. It's all the DOS. You Studio 1, 2, and it's all in a box, really. And I just had a blast getting because he comes with melody lines, lyrics, and progression done. Now I just get to paint, play and then the sparkling stuff on top, sprinkles on top with the additional auxiliary instruments.
Yeah,
So
cool. All right, so you guys released this in 2023. How long did it take you to record it?
was it 4 months, 4 to 6
Yeah,
months?
4, I think. 4 or 5 months.
And the name of the record, by the way, is "Hope for a Better Day," and hell yeah, okay. Yeah. So thank you for that, and some cool artwork on the album cover too. You were in New York City, I think you told me.
Yeah, Heather and I were in New York. She had a conference out there, and so the good thing about that is she drags her husband along, so I get to go and be a part of that. And so we went down to Greenwich Village one night, and that picture on the cover is taken outside the Cafe Wah. And that's, if people don't know, the Cafe Wah is one of the
Lots
places.
of famous shows there.
Bob Dylan got his when he first went to New York City. He was playing solo folk shows at the Cafe Wah, and so that was my big draw. And then Jimi Hendrix was leading a blues band before he actually went out on his own
And got
there.
famous.
And
Yeah.
that place was managed by a guy named
Chris heard Jimi Hendrix, and he immediately rolled in. He's quite a Hendrix aficionado in his own right.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with Hendrix stuff? Like before, like when he was playing blues stuff before he kind of went on his own. Chris, are you familiar with that stuff as well?
Yeah.
Backed up, let's see, Little Richard
Really?
and the Isley Brothers,
No kidding.
and played some in Nashville. And but yeah, imagine him on Little Richard backing up Little
Well,
Richard.
you know what it reminds me
That's
of.
not fair, man.
Yeah, right, but
It's a lot of charisma. And
Yes.
what it makes me think of though is that everybody starts somewhere and nobody's a hero to begin with, and
Right.
and along the lines of Hendrix, Stevie Ray Vaughan played he played guitar for David Bowie as for. He performed on the Let's Dance record. If you listen to those songs, you'll recognize Stevie Ray. Now, if you didn't before, you'll recognize it now. But he also went on tour for the Let's Dance tour with Bowie, and they paid Stevie Ray $500 a night. That's what he got.
Wow.
And that was before Double Trouble and all that stuff. But he became obviously one of the greatest guitarists
That's
of
a
all time.
lot. That's a lot.
But
Yeah.
but that's how it goes, right? It's like I don't know. I actually love that there's so many. The guy from Journey, the guitarist for Journey, who was so good. I forget his name, but it was not Greg Rowley. He was a keyboard player, but anyway, he came up with Carlos Santana. And it's like
Wow.
there's connections all the way back. So
Yeah.
I love it. Anyway, I digress, but you guys sound great. Influences. First, Thad, back to you for a second. Like, give me some idea of. You mentioned John Prine, Johnny Cash. Obviously, these are.
My parents are big credit why I'm into music. As a matter of fact, I grew up. I was never in high school band or anything. I was never in band. I didn't know you're supposed to push a string down on a guitar to make the sound change. So I was 20 years old. I was in sports. I played I was three-sport athlete in high school, and I played college basketball up the road at Central Methodist in Fayette.
Oh, Neil Schoen is who I was thinking of. But anyway, yeah. The Journey guitarist. Anyway.
And so after 2 years of basketball at Central Methodist, I was burnt out, and I bought a guitar and learned how to play it. But I was raised. My parents.
You were
raised
an
me,
athlete.
Yeah, my parents raised me on everything from Bob Dylan to the Temptations to Ray Charles and Bob Seger and everybody in between. And then growing up, John Mellencamp was one of my favorite songwriters, and it's probably my favorite to this day. And somebody that
I think that Scarecrow record was one of my.
It's amazing.
I mean, he made a lot of music, and he did the early stuff. It was just John Cougar, and then he made the transition.
Which he hated Cougar. That wasn't his.
Well,
choice,
I mean, he was just a young kid. I mean,
Right.
if you look at some of those pictures of John Cougar, Mellencamp, when he was, I mean, it's like, man, how old was he? 18?
Yeah.
I mean, he was just a kid, right?
So-
and writing by kid stuff, and good for him.
So
but he
cool-
really did mature though.
Yeah. And what's cool about him, and what Scott and I are kind of talking about for our next project we're working on, is he had done American Fool, and Scarecrow.
Scarecrow,
and was killing it with Jack and Diane Hurt So Good, with Pink Houses, Crumbling Down, Authority Song, with Small Town, ROC, on Scarecrow. Those three albums. What's he do? He goes and changes it up completely. He adds accordion and fiddle and just changes it completely. And people are saying, "What the hell are you doing, man?
What are you doing?"
And so, and we've already talked about, we don't want to do the same thing twice. We're wanting, we don't want somebody to hear a song and say, "Well, was that off that album or that album?" It could have been on either one, And
Right,
so,
right.
and that's what I like. That's what I love about Dylan. He changed his sound. He went from folk to rock to country to gospel.
No question about it. Yeah.
Everything. And that's.
We have a good friend of the program here. His name is Justin Hickerson, and he's a huge Bob Dylan fan and has probably the best Dylan collection, if I had to guess, around. Certainly, anyway, for anyone that I know, right? But he's actually educated me a lot because I wasn't a big Dylan fan, and I'm much more so now.
Yeah. Same with him.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
I'm like, wow. I only heard those songs, and there was so much. It's such a much deeper thing than and of course you kind of know that, but you just don't know it. You don't know it until you actually think about it.
He educated me all of that because, like you said, I knew Jack and Diane, Heard So Good. That was about it.
Right.
And then to know the history behind all that, and then forwarding that to saying like what we're doing, trying to evolve. when this time around, he came to me with finished lyrics. So this time I'm gonna hone in on.
So you guys have a new record that you're working on?
We're working on one now. Yeah, so he's got five new ones we're working on.
Well,
this last one, you all know Melodyne, right? We did not do that on freaking purpose to make sure. Obviously, we wanted original him sound. So I'm just letting you know, like, if we get into the tech and how I recorded stuff, I made sure no Melodyne to make sure that we had a pure, clean, with all the artifacts and all that.
All right.
Inconsistencies. What's next?
Let's play another song off the record.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do. Speaking of. Let's do Crazy Hair. That's the one Kenny Aronoff drums on.
Crazy Hair is really good, and at some point I'd like to hear Cowboy Jack.
Yeah.
And Little Ruby, though. It's a little bit of a longer song, but I really like it, though. So maybe bottom of the hour or something in a little bit we'll put that one on. But
I was going to finish up too. Okay. You asked me my influences, and I want to get that across real quick.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So Mom raised me. She practically raised me Southern Baptist. So a lot of that wasn't it. I didn't know Van Halen. I didn't know the Doors. I didn't know who Led Zeppelin was for a long time. So I went from Elvis, Patsy Cline, and jumped up from that straight into like Nickelback.
Wow.
I missed a huge piece, right?
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's traumatic.
It was
right. Isn't that what they talk about? Everything's so traumatic.
Yeah. And so it was out of learning all this classical jazz, and then right out of high school learning what I could do in a bar band setting, playing lead guitar and singing. There's incentives that go along with that, and I went for that.
So, all right, quickly though, back to the musical stuff. You play the trumpet, you play the drums. You said you do all this. So obviously, you just had a music thing from. How early did you figure?
Pretty early.
I'm just
12 years old at guitar, and Mom was putting me in the back of a bar playing her stuff on stage for country music band Rocky Top. And
was there a point where you kind of in your life, honestly, like an age or an experience where you went, oh, wow, this is actually what I'm going to be doing or what I want to do or something like that?
When they'd run their little silly band like we all do, we go out and do that thing. Dad ran the sound. Mom was on stage with her band. I sat in the back with a Shirley Temple. So I figured it was just life. And so it went from there. Man. Anyway.
That's awesome. I love that.
That's about it.
Hey, your mom, how old is your mother going to be?
She's 80.
She's 80, and
wow.
they're got a band.
They're
getting ready to go out.
I want to hear
ready
it.
to take the stage at 80 years old.
Bring her down here to the station.
And I'm telling you what.
We'll do a show.
When we were recording this
I am being so serious.
Hey,
I mean, if she can travel, if she's still, I would, you bring her down here ASAP.
You would love her.
I will cancel other shows to have your mother and her band in here. And I'm saying that in front of you and the whole world. Obviously, I'm on the air. So
she was one of the biggest. She lent so much valuable advice to Scott and I in making this record. She would listen to the tracks, and she would, and I'm not saying we picked up everything she said, but so many things that she said, this could use this, this could use that, and we did it.
And no offense, but you appreciated her opinion because she has a great ear, or because she
knows music.
She just got a
singer-songwriter.
Yeah,
she's a very excellent vocalist.
Yeah, okay.
And
all right.
In fact, my tardiness is because I was literally getting ready to record some new tracks. We were recording Except for Monday, Except for Monday, which was never good anyway. Tuesday, a little sideways. That thing. Anyway, we'll send that out.
Okay. All right, let's play one Crazy Hair, actually, from Thad Requet. And once again, the album is called Hope for a Better Day. And
which one?
Quickly, Crazy Hair, and again, this is the guy who plays the drums, who played the drums with Mellencamp, right?
So Kenny Aronoff played on the early albums and all the hits in the 80s.
Yeah.
And then he's also recorded with Bob Dylan, the Under the Red Sky, the album. He's toured with Bob Seger.
So
he's been with everybody.
One of the drummers out there is just a badass.
I'll tell you the story after the song.
All right, here we go. Crazy Hair, Thad Requet. You're listening to it here. It's Open Mic Radio, KOPN Columbia.
Behind me and find your way through the day. And it's a tough bill when you're over the hill. You find you've lost your way. Dig down deep and hold on tight. It'll be just fine. As long as you keep pushing through, it's to the other side. As long as I got that girl with the crazy hair, as long as she tells me she'll be there. Days will get just a little bit longer. Nights are getting just a little bit stronger. I walk with her hand in hand. As long as I got that girl with the crazy hair, as long as she tells me she'll be there. Days are getting just a little bit longer. Nights are getting just a little bit stronger. I walk with her hand in hand.
How about that? That's intuition there to wait for that last drum kick. Okay, it's Open Mic Radio, KOPN Columbia 89.5 FM. We are thrilled to be with you all this afternoon. We got Thad Requet with us this afternoon. We got Scott Donegan with us in the studio. That was a track called Crazy Hair. One of, how many, we got 10 or 11 tracks on this record? One of 10, 10 songs on a wonderful album called Hope for a Better Day. And so let's get the story behind Mellencamp's drummer or whatever on this. Like, how did you guys... Okay, you just tell the story. All right.
So I freelanced for Mellencamp's website for 6 or 7 years. And
What does that mean?
That means I wrote articles for it.
Okay.
And so I would interview. I got to interview past and present band members. And Kenny was one of the. Growing up, I saw Mellencamp.
Do you have a media background? Like
Yeah, I was in newspaper for 29 years.
Yeah, because not a lot of people just want to go out and interview people. You know, it's like, yeah.
So my brother Mark and I, we owned our own paper. We started and we owned it for several years and sold it last June. And then now I'm teaching school up in Fayette.
Actually owned and ran a newspaper.
Yeah.
Wow, congratulations. That's a lost art.
Yeah, we had to sell it because we couldn't make any money with it anymore.
I get it. I'm sorry about it, but and I wish it wasn't the case. But
so I'm teaching school up in Fayette. I'm teaching 4th grade in Fayette right now, and I love it. I love the kids. I love the staff, and it's a great school.
And just general education or mathematics?
Yeah, 4th grade. Yeah, I teach math.
Teach everything.
I teach math basically to all 3 classes this year. So anyway, back to I was freelancing for the Mellencamp webpage. Kenny Aronoff, one of my favorite band members. I would pay money to see Kenny. I don't care who he's playing with, and you know what I'm talking about because you're a drummer and you know that. But anyway,
Dad's talking to Clark there, by the way.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah,
but
anyway. Yeah, I guess they can't see me pointing to Clark.
Well, if we lost the video stream.
Yeah, right. But anyway,
And eventually we are going to get that. I would love to have like a video in the corner here where we could just broadcast a show like that too. But we're not quite there yet. So
I did
send your donations to KOPN.org. Okay, sorry. Okay.
$60 a year.
That's right.
But anyway,
yes.
But anyway, I did a story on Kenny. Great guy. We stayed in touch afterwards, and we text back and forth every once in a while. And
so he's still around doing his thing.
Yeah, he was drumming for John Fogerty for about 17, 18 years.
Creedence Clearwater, for those unfamiliar.
Yeah. And he, for the last year and a half, 2 years, he's just been kind of going out and doing different things. He's filled in for Chad Smith for Chickenfoot. For Chickenfoot for that project. He does studio stuff for everybody. So he always said, man, when I did the story, he said, I'll drum for anybody. He said, I don't care if it's if it's Bob Dylan or if it's you. I said, yeah, but somebody like me couldn't afford you. He says, I don't charge, you guys what I charge those guys.
Right.
So, my wife Heather, who is out there, she's out there. My wife Heather, who is probably my biggest musical
fan,
supporter.
as
man,
she should be. Thank you,
is
Heather.
just
Appreciate
awesome.
that.
Anyway,
Good
she was
woman,
like,
and behind every good man is a good woman.
Oh,
that's the truth of the matter. I swear to God.
And she should be in here singing because she's got a music major. She's way more talented.
She don't need
than
to
I
say
am.
it,
but she's I said let's do one song, and because he charged and so it was like we got to get him on one, and we did, and so what we did
and so do you have to go to his studio or did he come to your studio
so Scott and I put everything together with a drum track,
right? Oh, you just
so I got to interact with the engineer.
Yeah,
his drum engineer, which was amazing.
So this was done remotely, basically.
Remotely.
So
You explain this, Scott, because
cool.
you know this.
It was so cool.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to go into what I like to do with my box and using MIDI information to chart drum tracks, etc. I like doing that a lot. I also like doing live acoustic drums, but if anybody knows, it's the toughest thing to do properly. To execute editing on drum tracks, it's just a pain in the ass setting up the. So anyway,
there's so many different sounds, and I mean, if you ever seen a mic setup, like a legit mic setup for a drum kit, you'll realize what Scott's talking
especially
about.
after Don Henley came in and said each one of these needs a mic versus what they were doing.
There's some really funny memes out there about people waiting for the drum mics to get set up, and it's just hilarious, right?
So when we got this,
it came in like 28 tracks.
Yeah.
And this room must have been full of microphones. So instead of, the whole point of me saying about the different ways to do stuff, instead of me using the sliders and the EQ variants and my compressors to figure out the drum mix,
right?
All I did was just mix these microphones without any EQ variants.
Wow.
No compressors. And it was amazing. I got so many different sounds by just bringing up 3 or 4 different kick drum tracks that had 4 different distinguishable sounds that were different. And so with that, I was like, well, wow, I can bring 3 of these half up, and you know how you get, and never done that before. I never had.
But it was a surprise though too.
It was awesome.
Yeah,
it was so
like
cool.
Epiphany sort of thing.
Yeah, I was like, wow, this guy. They had the time, the money, the energy set up. What professionalism! And
love it.
I did my best to. What the end of it is.
So
I didn't affect it as much as I could. I tried to leave it alone and not compress it and overdo it.
So it's also a lesson in how good those people really are,
man.
right? And how seriously they take it, right?
So he called me on Saturday morning. He said, "Hey, I'm doing a bunch of songs, for people like me that amateur musicians or whatever you call us. I don't know, people who aren't on MTV or on the radio, but every day. But anyway, he said, "What kind of sound do you want it to sound like?" I said, "Well, whenever I've recorded before and I had a drummer, I told him I want a Kenny Aronoff sound. I want heavy snare and Kenny Aronoff fills.
Your classic sound.
I said it's a 3-chord song. It's a Mellencamp, Tom Petty sounding song. Be aggressive with it. And I want do your fills and a heavy snare. And he said, "Gotcha." And then that night about 9:00, he calls me back and says, "I did 2 cuts." He said they both kick ass. Pick out whatever you want. And so he did say the first one. He said the first one's more structured. The second one is more loose. So I had to go. I went with the more loose one. We
both agreed.
All right. I want to ask a legal question. Was there contractually? How does that work out? Like, are you allowed to use that now? outside of that song, for example, or
that track on the other side? No, I don't know.
or could you sample it? And I mean, or I'm just curious. Did you have to sign a contract or whatever? No, you just paid him some money and said, "There you go."
I've Venmo'd him money, and when he got it, he sent me the tracks.
No, honestly, that's the way I like to do business.
Yeah,
that means he doesn't give that much of a.
Right, he's doing so much.
Right,
and I don't think he's
not interested in suing you for.
If it was John Fogerty, I'm sure he's signing things.
Or Lars Ulrich, that may have been different.
Look at
Thad Requet, he's not worried about signing things right now anyway.
Not like we know him. But.
All right. We got a few minutes before the top of the hour, so let's talk a little bit more, and then we'll play another one. If you guys will play one for us here in a few minutes, let's do that, okay? But let me ask you about. We kind of been talking about equipment a little bit, and we've got a lot of gearheads that like to hear how you do things and what you play through and the instruments and things like that. So let's start real easy. You're both guitarists, at least this afternoon. What type of guitars are you guys playing this afternoon? We'll start with you, Thad.
I'm playing an Ibanez. Just an old guitar that I got from a good friend of mine who's a great guitar player, Billy Johnston, up in Shelbina, Missouri. And
it's a good-looking guitar.
Years ago, we were in a cover band together, and we were buying a board, and he was like, he said, if you cover my cost for the board, I'll just let you have that guitar. Because every time I was at his house, I was playing the thing anyway. And so I said, sure. And I've been playing it for 20 years. I don't know how long,
Just about broke in now.
Yeah, so I love it. So
all right, great.
There's nothing fancy about it, that's for sure.
Do you play more than one? That's your primary.
I've got it. Yeah, now because I've been here in Columbia. I'm trying to get a band together. Scott and I, and we're trying to find a bass player and a drummer. And
you live in Columbia, right?
Heather and I just moved here last October.
And Scott, you still live in Hannibal?
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so, but yeah, I'm trying. When I play in a band setting, I'll play a Fender Telecaster a lot of times, and I've got a Strat also.
Nice.
So
okay. All right. What are you playing, Scott?
I brought with me my Taylor 214 CE. And it's a mid-range, it's a semi-nice guitar. It's probably the best one I'll ever need. It's just expensive enough to keep what I need and take
care of it
and take it out and use it out.
Yeah, so you're not worried about beating it up.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
For the album, I used I have one main guitar.
Do you have a whole slew of them?
No. I don't. I have more 8. I play 8-string extended range. I like really heavy polyrhythmic, Meshuggah and everything.
Oh man, Meshuggah. That's one of Clark's favorites.
He's my I've seen them. Yeah, they're if you want to know what I like and what I really pay attention to, it's that polyrhythmic.
Tip of the hat to Clark for that one because I never heard of Meshuggah before I met Clark. But yeah.
They're the ones. They're the ones that were kind of doing it first. Everybody else has been kind of
they kind of pick up on that, and that's the way it rolls. I mean, that's the way it goes. So
8-string extended range. I have a bunch of those because those are novelty. Because you got to be in that. There's no reason to use it for this. So my workhorse is a Paul Reed Smith CE24, and that is because I can take that guitar and select the coil pickup and do a single. And I get my Strat Telly sound that way, and when I need my whatever, I double humbuck it by smacking it back in, and voila, I got a huge range, and I mess with my tone knobs a lot.
Do you have a pedal setup?
I have a pedal setup. I'm a Bogner fan. I'm about the circuitry. I like Variacs. I use the same type of stuff Eddie was doing. He would have a detuner. He'd have a wet and a dry side, and he'd detune his guitar.
And you're talking about Eddie Van Halen.
Van Halen, yep.
So as a quick side note, my last name is Hagan. Oh. And
a mix between.
Yeah. So my first son, I tried to convince my wife to name him Edward Van, so he would be Eddie Van Hagen. But
so cool. Put a lot on the kid, man.
Yeah, would have been so cool. But she didn't buy into it. So anyway,
so Eddie would use a piece of digital technology that would detune his guitar, and that would give you the wave variant that he'd have. Okay, and that
he was a badass.
He was a badass,
oh my God.
But I had to study. I was trying to figure out what he was doing all this time as a guitar player. So, in a nutshell, what's happening is a chorus pedal tuned up the right way will give you that effect easy enough.
So, so it's more of a technical thing sometimes.
And what that gives you, instead of a solid, clean tone, you have a wavering tone, which gives you kind of a color band to look at rather than just you have a you know, that sort of analogy if you're using voice. So that reverb, lots of reverb. Anytime I play my solos, I hit my mini delay, so it fattens those up. Use my Strobo Stomp, which is a roto tuner, supposed to be real nice ones. And then
Right, I love it now. Right,
and then
now we're getting into it, Chris.
My
right?
my Bogner switches are the red and the blue
right?
ecstasies. They don't. The whole point is they have the Variacs, so you can get the sag that you need off having a half stack with a Les Paul. And if you know what I'm talking about, the Variacs.
No, if you know, you know. That's that's this part of the show.
It's a spongy part. So instead of like the effect attacking with a huge distorted quality, the Variac will calm it down and allow your clean tone to push out and then affect underneath.
Love it.
Almost like you have two tonal qualities. So
Chris, you want to chime in here?
I actually have an amplifier with a Variac switch. You just mentioned Bogner.
yes.
Something that's it's like gives it a little extra treble, sort of upper. It doesn't work as well for harmonica.
What it does is bring
Right.
down the voltage. Brings
Okay.
it backs the voltage off,
interesting.
and then you can power up your signal more without having too much distortion. So it's a more saturated, more controlled tone.
Okay.
I mean, it's hard to explain, but
There you
that's
go.
what happens.
Chime in there.
I love it, yeah.
When you got the distortion, you hit that Variac, it goes to like a more less crispy sound. So then you get it's creamier, and that equals the 70s, 80s sound. All these guitar players that had that. It's almost like, oh, it's kind of dirty, nasty sounding, but that's the quality we're looking for versus what Nickelback was doing with their really heavy, distorted guitars, which is fine.
Right.
There's a
I'm thinking.
quality to
I'm
that,
thinking.
but-
Billy Corgan, Pumpkins.
Yes. Yeah, all those qualities are in there. He's using that same kind of stuff, I believe.
All right, let's. Let me quick say that it's about 5 o'clock or so, close enough for government work, on KOPN Columbia, 89.5 FM. We're streaming on the web at kopn.org. This is Open Mic Radio, and this program is brought to you in part by KMOS, taking television beyond the living room with their PBS app and KMOS Passport. Classics like Rumpole of the Bailey, Riley Ace of Spades, and The Rivals of Sherlock Holmes, along with new episodes of Celebrity Antiques Road Trip, which I love, are available anytime, anywhere, on any device. More information at kmos.org. All right, let's do another one here with Thrad. That's your one, right? Thrash and Thad. All right, Thad, Requet, and Scott are going to play another one for us. What are you guys going to do?
We're going to do one called Where's My Country? Basically, it's just I wrote it a couple years ago, and it's ringing true more than ever today. It's just talking about the division we have in our country and how we need to get back, to being one strong country. And whether we always agree with each other or not, we're not always going to agree with each other, and that's fine. But man, we let politics come between us, and it's ridiculous. We can agree to disagree, and not the hate's got to go away. And so that's kind of what this song is about.
Here.
Absolutely. I agree completely. Here's another one.
So again, we're kind of winging this. We'll see how it goes.
All right. Thad Requet and Scott Donegan, Open Mic Radio, KOPN Columbia.
You stand on your side, I'll stand on mine. Unless you see things my way, don't you cross that line, don't cross that line. No, don't cross that line. The wall's been built between us, divided we stand. I don't even recognize my fellow man anymore. I blame the source, claiming to be media, spinning in the wind. Conspiracies in the wind. Wouldn't that whatever people want to hear, claiming to know the truth, they're just spreading fear. Yes, they are. Whoa. crazy on the left, crazy on the right. Nobody wants to talk, everybody wants to fight, they want to fight. Gotta step up and make it right. Lawyers and politicians lying every day, leading their people straight to the grave. Yes, they are. Turn off the TV and the bloggers too. Use your own head. Figure out what to do. Figure what to do. Gotta know what to do. There ain't nobody looking out for you. Boy, you're on your own. Hope you make it through. Yes, I do. Where is my country? Whoa, where's my fellow man? Got to come together. We can do better than this.
Oh, yeah. Woo! Hell yeah.
Heck yeah.
Outstanding, you guys. All right, so, man, I feel that song. Honestly, and I try not to do politics on this program, but I feel it. And that ain't politics, man. It's just, damn, we just need each other, and we got to recognize that our differences are way fewer than what we got together. And it ain't so much left, right. I saw a great quote yesterday afternoon, and I'll leave it at this, but it was something along the lines of, there is no red, there is no blue, there is the state, and there is you.
Yeah, that's good.
And that's the way that I sort of look at it at this point. So,
That's
we're all in this together. So, all right, Open Mic Radio, KOPN Columbia. We've got Thad Requet. We've got Scott Donegan with us. A couple of really talented young men performing in the studio with us this afternoon. We've got some recorded music as well. A record recorded in 2023 called "Hope for a Better Day." We're playing a few songs off of that. But let's chat for a minute again, and I'd like to talk about songwriting. So the record that was released in 2023, there are 10 songs on it. Are those the only songs that you have that I mean, do you have a whole catalog of things, and like, or is that like, I'm just.
I've got it. I've been I started writing lyrics when I was 16 years old, and it was funny because coming from a small town and being in sports and in the
You probably said it
80s.
before, but your hometown was.
I'm from Shelbina, Missouri, up in northeast
that's
Missouri.
right. Yeah.
And being from small town back in the 80s, it's different now. I was very self-conscious about that. I was writing lyrics. I loved music, and I didn't know how to play a thing.
So were you essentially like essentially writing like poetry in a
Basically,
notebook or
yeah.
whatever?
But I had the music in my head. I knew how, but I didn't know how to play. So
you didn't consider yourself a poet. You were writing music.
I was writing music. I was writing lyrics, song lyrics, basically. Yeah, and so and I can remember telling my first girlfriend, I was just sweating, just a nervous sweat, just telling her that I'm writing some lyrics, and she's like, well, that's cool, and so, but yeah, so, like I said, after my sophomore year in college, I was 20 years old, and I finally bought a guitar, and I was like, I learned how to do this, so I'm way behind anybody else pretty much, and just been trying to catch up ever since. So, but I I feel like my lyrics are probably my strong point, and my singing is something that's had to improve over the years, and something Scott's really, and my wife Heather's really helped me with. And Scott was a stickler on sing that line over again. You're flat on this, or you're sharp on this, and all that. So.
Yeah, we take after take.
Heather's laughing back here in the corner, trying to contain herself. So, anyway, well, that's the art is doing it, listening to it, working on it, making it what you want. Really, not necessarily better for anybody else. It's really better for you, I think. Right?
Yeah.
That's the idea, and hopefully other people pick up on it. But
hey, while I'm thinking of it, man, and I meant to say this earlier.
Yeah.
If people were listening from the very beginning, those guys, and you need to, and I can't remember all the names, but you gotta acknowledge these guys that played that song at the beginning with the harp and the guitar and then the percussion.
My gosh.
I was like, I gotta follow this, man. Come on, they sounded great.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Well, they're the support crew here. I always thought that it would be cool to do a radio show and have like have like a house band, like Letterman had Paul Schaefer and his band, right? Mm-hmm. So even though it's a smaller scale thing, that's basically what we have. We got Kurt, who's and we could talk a long time about all these guys individually, but Kurt is a wonderful singer-songwriter, actually, who kind of does my sidekick thing here with me. But he actually had a band, or was part of a band in the late 90s, early 2000s called Holy Frog. In fact, I'm wearing the shirt.
Yeah, I see it.
And Holy Frog was out there on the road with Blind Melon and the Meat Puppets and Built to Spill and Stone Temple Pilots and a bunch of really fun and some of my favorite bands from that era. So I was so thrilled when I met Kurt because he was real close friends with Shannon Hoon, who was one of my favorite artists, and fortunately lost him so soon. But he's a wonderful singer songwriter on his own. So he was like, hey Mike, I wrote this song for the opening of your show. So he's just the best, and he's a great friend. And Memphis Chris, playing the harmonica, is a professional harmonica player. He played on Beale Street for years, and he's recorded with many great blues players and stuff like that. Yeah. And Clark is an outstanding drummer and a wild guitarist on his own right. And so I'm just and I just love to have all of you guys and girls come in here and do it, because it's a great thrill for me, and I know that other people like it too. So it's well,
thanks, Mike.
Yes, thank you, Clark.
I got to hold the chair while Clark was playing percussion on the chair. That was awesome, man. He was walking around the room chasing the chair as he was playing and not missing the beat, man.
I learned a while ago that anything can be a drum.
Yeah. Oh, it was awesome.
So, anyway, all right. Well, let's see. We're about a quarter after the hour here, 5:15 or so on KOPN Columbia, 89.5 FM. Really enjoying ourselves this afternoon. Hope you're having a great Saturday as well. It's just a lovely afternoon out there in mid-Missouri, and we've been fortunate to have some real nice weather over the whole summer, actually, for me. I'm like, man, it's been actually quite pleasant.
Yeah.
We got rain like we needed. It hasn't been that hot. I know it's hot sometimes, but anyway. Okay, so Thad Requet's here. We got Scott Donegan with us. Recording, quickly, let's talk about recording. And then we'll play another song from the record, and then we'll do a couple more live songs before we wrap up out of here. But when you guys record material, Scott, I guess you're
so this is what we do.
You're the brains behind that.
Mm-hmm.
So
we push a scratch track down, so he comes in one microphone and he does it.
One microphone.
Just one microphone.
Vocal.
So the guitars and vocals.
Guitar and vocal on one mic.
One
okay.
track.
Yeah.
And that's our reference point and put across.
Okay. Yeah.
We find out where that BPM's at, make our decision, and then we start putting guitar tracks down.
What's BPM?
Beats per minute.
Beats per minute.
Okay, just try to get
right.
the tempo right.
Okay.
Okay.
And then so then that takes care of that, and then we start working on making out the song with our flags on I use a DAW system called Studio 1.2.
Okay.
It's an older version. I have Pro Tools 12 now, but I don't use it. I like the Studio one because it's comprehensive, it's pretty, it's colorful.
Use what you know. If it works, yeah.
It's just not as good working with video, and that's why I use the Pro Tools for the video. But so then that's the organic process, is getting him taken care of, and then like 2 tracks of his acoustic, so I have the ability to split left, right, center, or whatever, and take the best of whatever. And then then I build my secondary guitar track, which is the other side, because I'm always thinking on how to spread it in the mix. And along with this evolution, we're going to stop probably using our formulas that this mix sounds like and do the whole Beatles / what some of the Van Halen. There's many artists that did it like drums, singer on one side, the rest band on the other side.
Yeah.
Merch tries some of that. See how it goes.
All right, cool.
But so then once that's done, then I have he already has the melody line, which is great. So I can hear what's happening at the kind of what should be going last, but it really needs to be first. And bass, all auxiliary instruments.
Appreciate you picking up on that, Clark.
And always solos. I'm so upset with the way songs are coming out now without good solos, like guitar
tell me
solos
about it.
coming
That
out.
breaks my heart because
Yeah.
you're waiting for it, right? It's like or it's 8 bars and it just doesn't have the what it ought to have. Are you doing this kind of work? Kurt,
Your achy, breaky heart.
I think he died recently, didn't he? What's her name's father?
Billy Ray Cyrus.
Yeah, did
I
Billy Ray?
don't think Billy Ray's
Is he still alive?
Toby Keith died of cancer.
Oh, that's who I was thinking of. I'm sorry. Yeah, I was just wishing that it was Billy Ray. I'm sorry.
No.
No, I'm kidding. Are you recording and doing this sort of work for other people as well?
I am. It's just a passion project deal, and if I get a close friend that comes close enough, or someone wants to do learning how to vocalize and scream, I also do I'm a front vocalist for metal stuff, and I can do that. But people come in and ask, people come in and ask all the above, and sometimes it gets to the point where, hey, I like this, and can we complete a project? I have a couple heavy projects online as well that require my 8-string and ridiculous heaviness.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
All right, let's play a song from the record.
So talking about solos, this next one we'll do Angeline. I'm not a lead player, so I actually came up with this solo, which I don't do normally, but on this one I did. And the first solo at the first break, and there's a second one at the end of the song. But the first one, I told Scott, I even kind of played it for him, and he said, well, you want to play? I said, I can't play it right. You play it. This is what I want. And then he took it and made it sound great. You remember that process?
Yeah, I remember exactly. I know
And
exactly.
I came in, I played, and it has a big bend at the beginning, and I could hear it in my head what I wanted,
Right.
and he nailed it. So this, and there, Allie.
Right. So along with this, I was actually dating the lead singer of my band at the time. Which
Never
is
a good idea, but
Don't
hey,
do that, people. Let's just go ahead and don't do
Right?
that.
That's one of those live and learn things. But anyway, yes.
It's a Fleetwood Mac.
Right.
So and she ended up making it difficult afterwards. But anyway, while I had that resource available, I'd bring her in and I'd sit there and hum all the stuff. I'd write it all. Any of the harmony parts I wrote in my head and had them execute it. So everything that she did, I wrote everything out and said,
And he could
do
sing it,
this.
too.
Yeah, I'd falsetto wherever I needed to put it for her in her key
Uh-huh.
and say, do it. No, more like this. No, less vibrato, hold it out, etc. Until we finally got it. And I think if we didn't have her on this one, it would have there'd have been a whole dimension just completely missing, and
All
it
right.
wouldn't have sounded as
Well,
good.
let's check it out. All right, this is Angeline.
Yeah.
It's Thad Requet. We got Scott Donegan helping out considerably on this record, and it's called "Hope for a Better Day." And we'll leave it at that. Open Mic Radio, KOP in Columbia.
Woke up alone again, wondering where you've gone. Lord, I've got to wonder, where did things go wrong? I've been down and out for so long, seems the only thing to do is go on. Wondering when I'm gonna learn. Sometimes I just sing my song, sing it all night long. I ain't seen the light of day, hold up in the smoky bar, singing my songs and playing this old guitar. Somehow it gets me through when I can't get my mind off you. When I'm in that lonely place, sometimes I don't know what to do. so I'll sing about you. Whoa, Angeline. Whoa, set me free. Whoa, Angeline. In my heart you will always be. I guess I'll make my way down this lonesome road. It takes all my strength to carry this heavy load. I'll face another day without you. There's nothing else I can do. When the smile does find my face, it's because I'm thinking of you. So I'll sing about you. Whoa, Angeline. Whoa, set me free. Whoa, Angeline. In my heart you will always be.
Wow. All right. What a great song. That one's called Angeline. And you listen to it here, Open Mic Radio, KOPN Columbia, 89.5 FM. Once again, streaming on the web at kopn.org. Stick around, Ross Shumba and a reggae party. Ross Kurt's hacking up a lung, celebrating Ross Shumba. Anyway, we love Ross Shumba, and you should too, all right? It's roots rock reggae from 6 o'clock until 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock?
1 o'clock.
Yes, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. This is not a Japanese radio program. And now I will get chastised for that one, but anyway, that's all right. So, roots rock reggae. Spin yourself a big Bob Marley joint, put your dancing shoes on, and enjoy Ross Shumba and a reggae party from 6 till 8. 8 o'clock to 11. Blues on Broadway with Chris. Outstanding blues music from 8 to 11. And that's a super cool show. So anyway, okay, we've got Thad Requet with us. We've got Scott Donegan with us this afternoon. Memphis Chris is back after a little hiatus. I'm so thrilled to have him here. Clark's here. Kurt's here. I was hoping to hear from John and Andy and Kelly, the Hootenhauers, off on their first tour for their new record, supporting their new record called The Devil's Egg. And John sent me a note and said that they had a sound check at 6, and and they had to load in at 4, so it was unlikely that they were going to get to us. So shout out to those guys and girls, the Hoot and Hollers, just doing great stuff out there, and their new record, honestly, The Devil's Egg, it's a rock opera. You got to listen to it from start to finish, and it's outstanding. And check it out. Okay, all right. So, what do you have planned? Do you ever play live shows? I mean, do you have plans to do that? I mean, I know you got kind of got other stuff going on.
I'm trying to play all the time. So, just moving here to Columbia, I'm trying to get my foot in the door. I've played here through the years.
You've only been here though, like very.
Yeah, I've only lived here since October.
Okay, right.
But I played at the dive bars. Had me several times. I played at since I've moved here. I've played at Cafe Berlin a few times.
Yeah, I was going to say that. That Monday night.
Yeah, I did that once, but they've had me open for because I don't have a band right now, so I'm trying to Scott and I are trying.
Well, that's the place to meet everybody.
Yeah.
Or there's one of the places.
Yeah.
Go down there and hang out for a little while on Monday. They're all collaborating.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And so I've played there a couple times. I've opened for some people a couple times. But I've been doing solo acoustic stuff right now. The dive bar, Cafe Berlin. There's other places. Boonville at the Hotel Frederick.
Unfortunately, I wish there were more. I mean, there's a few more. Pierpont Store and of course Cooper's and
I've contacted all those places. I haven't heard anything back.
Just stay persistent.
Yeah,
they'll get with you. They got a lot of people hitting them up.
I know, they do. And they've got
and they're real good.
Yeah,
they want to support the local scene. So
sure.
just stay familiar.
Friends of mine that play there, that they said they're great people and everything. And I understand that. I know. And I've collaborated. I haven't had my own thing, but I've played out at Cooper's Landing a couple times. What a cool setting that is, where they've had several people perform and
down
stuff.
There on the river, just beautiful.
Yeah. So, but that's so. Yeah. So we're I'm trying to get my foot in the door. I feel like if I can get a 3-piece, 4-piece together, then I maybe have better luck doing that.
What's your idea for like an ideal band? What would you do if you were going to put a band together?
Right now, I'd just like to have Scott on guitar and get a bass player and a drummer, and then let's just go. And yeah, just a 4-piece, and I can, when I'm solo acoustic, I usually strap a harmonica around my neck too, and do the harmonica guitar thing,
Okay.
So
yeah, all right.
But
well, cool. How many? Let's see. You've got 3 more.
You got
2 more.
We got 2 more lined up to do live if you got time, and then.
Well, for sure. So let's do one now.
Okay.
And then we'll play at least another one off the record, maybe 2.
Okay.
And I still want to play. I want to play Cowboy Jack and Little Ruby.
Sure. Yep. And that's got a little story to it too.
Yeah.
So.
And that one maybe we'll do that. That'll give us a little breather before we kind of wrap things up. So you guys do this one. We'll play that one and maybe another one. And then we'll wrap up the show with one from you two here in the studio. Okay.
I was gonna say if we do you can do Cowboy Jack, and if you do Hope at the last track, Hope. That's kind of the.
I get it. Yeah.
So. All right.
I will do it.
All right. Well, this next one's going to be called...
Am I the easiest radio host to work with of all time?
You're awesome, man.
Exquisite.
Well, they're like, yeah, but you're the only one I've ever worked with.
Exactly, yeah. We're not really... We haven't really been on that radio circuit. Hey, KOP... John Lofton's featured this album twice, man. And he's been great. He's played my stuff for years.
John's he's a real asset for Missouri musicians in particular, but he's been doing great stuff here at KOPN for a long time.
Yes, he has.
And yeah, his show is called Mid-Mo Music, and it's late night.
Yeah,
I think
used to be early morning. Now it's midnight to 2
on I forget
Sunday night.
I think Sunday night.
Well,
Monday morning.
Yeah, early Monday morning.
Into Monday morning, right?
He had Scott and I both. He talked to us.
Yeah.
For an hour.
All right. Shout out to John out there.
All right.
And he's actually introduced me to a bunch of Missouri artists that and which brings me to the point that there's so much great music here. We say it all the time, but there's so many great artists and in many different genres and. You never know it all. You may think you're connected, and you may be, but there's always new stuff out there that you're not familiar with, and that's the sign of a healthy, thriving music scene. So,
absolutely, Columbia's always had a good.
So I love it. And all right. What are you guys gonna do?
So next one's called Blind Boy Grunt. If you Google Blind Boy Grunt, Bob Dylan will come up. That's a name, a pseudo name he's given himself. Along with Jack Frost and a lot of other names.
Yeah.
So this song is kind of about Dylan. And so, and there's all kinds of song titles hidden in the lyrics. Probably, I think 8 or 9 song titles hidden in the lyrics on this. So this is called Blind Boy Grunt.
All right, let's hear it now. It's Open Mic Radio, KOPN Columbia, and you're listening to Thad Requet, Scott Donegan. Check it out.
There's never been anyone quite like him through all these years. He writes the songs that the world could sing, bring a man to tears. The words he spoke, the melodies he played, shook the land like a roll of thunder with the things he'd say. He spoke for the working man, he spoke for the poor, spoke for the blind and sick. He sang about corruption, sang about violence, sang about politics. Then he plugged in, set the world on fire, cast a spell that the world was under, and he took it higher. Talking about blind boy, talking about blind boy, talking about blind boy grown. Talking about blind boy, talking about blind boy, talking about blind boy grown. Sang like a crooner straight from the country, watching the river flow. He sang with a broken heart, said if you see her, say hello. With the paint on his face, he's staring through you, sorting out a life that was tangled up in blue. Then he found Jesus and he preached the word, spoke to everybody. They didn't want to hear him, but he said you got to serve somebody. With the cross on his mind and God in his heart, he kept on marching like it always done from the start. Talking about blind boy, talking about blind boy, talking about blind boy grown. Talking about blind boy, talking about blind boy, talking about blind boy grown. Go on, Scotty. Tried to be a man of truth and honor, a man of dignity. He's always looked his critics in the eye, he's faced hostility. With a high water rising, there'll be days no more. His eyes are fixed upon heaven's door. Man, he's still out there somewhere, headed for another joint. Whatever he's talking about, he's getting right to the point. Live your life, live it wild and free. Your days are numbered, be who you want to be. Talking about blind boy, talking about blind boy, talking about blind boy grown. Talking about blind boy, talking about blind boy, talking about blind boy grown. Go on, buddy.
Holy smokes! How about the guitar playing from that gentleman there? All right, Scott Donegan on the lead guitar there, and Thad Requet, both of them killing it here this afternoon in the studio with us. And is that an old song, new song? How long? Because some of these songs on your first record, I imagine, are older than others. And
well, I've been writing and recording for years, and then I was recording, and my friends would be like, "Oh yeah, that's all right." And then they heard what Scott recorded, and they said, "Man, you don't need to record him. Well, you go to Scott and have him record your stuff." So, right. But I've got a lot of songs. So that song's about 2 or 3 years old.
All right. Yeah. All right. Okay. When do you have a particular writing style? I'm going to ask both of you this question though. Like when you write a song, like do you write regularly? Do you have a process or whatever?
It's the regular. It's the
so this is Scott talking. So for you, it's a regular thing.
Yeah, we decided to go with the cookie cutter regular kind of version stuff.
But I mean, it's like every day at 5 o'clock, or like that type of thing, or how do you?
Oh, I'm sorry. So like a formula for songwriting. That's what I was getting at. So
Yeah,
like verse,
yeah.
chorus, verse, solo, bridge,
yes.
and
that too.
double chorus at the end. That.
Yeah. Okay. But do you have a
I go through
a schedule of writing, or do you just kind of they come to you when they come to you, or you sit down every afternoon, or you sit down once a week, or
so it'll be he'll come over, and we'll do that first session. Then I'll do a session myself, and sometimes I'll call him, and then until I have a nice major piece for him to come back and sit down and listen to. So it's about every other time. He'll come over, workload, leave, another workload without him, come over, I'll show him, and then he adds to. And
what about you individually? Like when you're like, do you write your own songs like for other projects that you're involved with?
I do, and I'm so bad at this is a freelance project. Like I do this for fun.
I kind of get it,
come in,
but you got a lot of energy and you got a lot of skills.
I have a full album of music that I don't really even push. I have other stuff that I've done and songs that I haven't really got together most of the time because
you also ride a nice motorcycle, by the way. Yeah. So that's a whole nother.
I like them Sportsters.
Yeah.
But how can people get a hold of that? Said album?
Exactly. So that's I'm going to go ahead and say that I have dropped the complete ball. Thank you on that. I haven't pushed it. Maybe now with Thad and working on this next one, I'm going to build my portfolio properly. It's just been I don't even care.
I'm convinced that at this point, the best way to do it is to not say anything.
Yeah.
It's kind of what I've been doing.
Let everyone else do all that. I mean, I really, but I'm not trying to make any money.
As for me, the songwriting process, no, I don't. They go in spurts. I may go a few months and not write a thing. Then I may write, a lot in a short time. And
inspirationally though, like you wake up in the morning, or it's just like an experience, and you decide you're going to write about it, or you just happen to have a crazy idea.
It's a coloring book for me. So he comes in and just like this tattoo work, right? I got the main lines here, which is the song, and then since I got that, I just have to mindlessly color and shade, like. I mean, if you're a tattooer, but I equate it to the same thing as like he's done most of the work for me. There's a complete here to there.
Right.
All I have to do is pick colors and start painting,
just filling in,
painting stuff in, and having fun.
So yeah, and I just sit down with an acoustic. I'll have an idea or something. There'll be something that'll strike me as like, and then I sit down. I just start strumming chord patterns, and to try to come up with a melody, and try not to come up with the same thing every time. Try to do something different. And
lyrics come first or second, or
a lot of
way,
times, I'll have a subject in mind, and I'll just start strumming, and then maybe come up with a line, have a melody and try to come up with some lines.
The first line is the hardest, right? Because then you can work off of that. But
and what I've got to do, because I'm turning into an old man real quick, because I got a phone.
As
right
are
here.
all of us.
I play it,
even if you're 4.
As soon as
3, 2, 1. If you're born, you're getting older.
As soon as I get done with I record a scratch recording of it, so I don't forget, because I'll have the words and even the chord progression.
Like just throw it on your iPhone or something like that, or whatever.
Yeah, and so I can go back and say, oh yeah, that's how that goes. Okay, and then I start modifying lyrics, usually that's cutting out words and shortening lines.
Right.
So
yeah, but just grab the general idea so you don't forget it. And then,
right.
Yeah. All right. Okay, let's. We're 5:41. I want to play Cowboy Jack and Little Ruby. So tell me the story behind that song, and then we'll come back. We'll kind of wrap things up, and we'll play one more live here in the studio before we hand it over to.
La Shumba!
at a reggae party. All right. Tell me about Cowboy Jack and Little Ruby. It was a song on the record that kind of grabbed my ear.
Based loosely off of my wife and I. You know, we met in college and then got back together 27 years later. And
Wow.
we got married 27 years later, and it's kind of about going our separate ways. And you know, she was in Rolla or down south, and I was up in North Missouri in Shelbina, and so you know, I embellished. I made it into a Western basically. And so she was in Mexico and he was up north, you know, trying to find his way, basically. And so yeah, and then at the end it's almost like a Pancho and Lefty thing where it's all of a sudden it's modern. They're on the beach together and he's reading a newspaper. Well, I owned a newspaper for years, you know,
Yeah.
and she's got her sunglasses on there, and because we both love the beach, you know. And so, and then Scott highlighted the song with a kazoo solo at the end. That's just love it, man. So
All right, so really quickly, I have to say it that in just a couple weeks, I'm going to Colorado to be married to the love of my life, who I met in college in 1987, 86, and we've been together on and off for 30 some years. But but 5 years ago or so, we decided that we were going to do it for real. And she moved here a few years ago, and we're now together. And I couldn't be more happy. And
Congratulations.
And I went through a whole lot of different things in between then and now, and so did she. And we both have families that. Anyway, I can't wait to hear this with that in mind now. So anyway, thank you.
I'm as happy as I've ever been, and I'm happy for you because that's awesome.
How about it, right?
Yep.
All right. It's Open Mic Radio, KOPN Columbia. Thad Requet, Scott Donegan on this album, playing a bunch of stuff. This one's called Cowboy Jack and Little Ruby. Back in a few minutes, all right?
Cowboy Jack had a patch over his right eye, silver bullet in the six-shooter waiting for its time. Spent years on the trail looking for his home, a place so beautiful and always on his mind. On his mind. Little Ruby was a lady who always made the scene, looking like she could have been on the silver screen. Jack was up north trying to find his way, and Ruby was in Mexico taking it day by day. Day by day. Two desperados just trying to survive, out there on their own, just trying to stay alive. Little Ruby had some lovers, both good and bad. She'd always start off happy but end up sad. So many nights she'd drink herself to sleep. She always found someone she didn't want to keep. Didn't want to keep. Cowboy Jack was there deep in her heart. She knew he was the one right from the start. He was so far away, but on her mind, he disappeared one day way back in time. Back in time. Two desperados just trying to survive, out there on their own, trying to stay alive. Where can you go and what can you do when all you've got is time and miles between you? Cowboy Jack was out riding the bluff so high, snow floating down on him in the cold gray sky. Two riders approached without a sound. When it all went down, there was blood on the ground. Blood on the ground. He rode through the day and all the night until the gray skies cleared in the morning light. Cowboy Jack rode for miles in the warm sunlight until he realized his home was inside. Was inside. Sunset, he was hunched over his horse with a blood-soaked vest. She knew right away it was Cowboy Jack, and she ran to meet him and bring him back. Bring him back. Little Ruby took him in and nursed him back to life. 3 years later, she was Jack's wife. All those miles of pain seemed to melt like snow. Cowboy Jack would never again get up and go. Get up and go. That's how it goes in the crazy Wild West, both torn and tattered. They'd hope for the best. Little Ruby sits under that bright sunlight, wearing sunglasses with Cowboy Jack to her right. He's older now, tattoos have faded some. His horse is gone, and so is his gun. Ruby wouldn't have it, she never did like guns. And Jack reads his paper as waves crash under the sun. Under the sun. Two desperados just trying to survive, out there on their own, trying to stay alive. Where can you go and what can you do when all you've got is time and miles between you?
Yeah. All right. So, wow. Yeah. That was Cowboy Jack and Little Ruby. I love it. Thad Requet, Scott Donegan, Open Mic Radio, KOPN Columbia. We're going to play one more from this record. We were going to do one in the studio, but we decided that there's a song called Hope that we had a vote and decided that this is the one we want to play to kind of wrap up the show. Maybe Heather wants to say something about it. Wow. Maybe
slinking away from the room.
Maybe not. Thad, what's the song of hope? What's the story of hope? It's a good one.
Well, it's a good one to end on. I always like to end a project with something positive, and so it started with "Where's My Country." So it started off with with some turmoil and everything. So it's like this is what we got, but then hope. The song "Hope" offers something positive to look forward to. Hopefully.
All right, let's do it. We're getting pretty tight on time, so I will thank you all for being here.
Thank you very much for having us, man. This was fun. This is great.
Thanks a lot, Mike.
We truly appreciate it.
You're welcome, and we'll stay in touch, and we'll do it again. This is Open Mic Radio, KOPN Columbia, and a song called Hope. Thad Requet.
Fear, like a river running through my veins, it's taking over my brain, crashing down on me like rain. Seeing so many people in pain, it's is driving me insane. Screaming like a roaring train. Holding out with hope. Sadness is taking over my soul, making me feel so. The faces are so cold. My spirit has been sold. I'm lost out on this road. The hatred is so bold. I'm holding out with hope. I'm holding out with hope. I'm holding out with hope. Hope for a better day. Hope for us to find our way. Hope to be a better friend. Hope that our hearts will mend. Hope to see through the blindness. Hope for a world of kindness. Hope for the end of hate. Hope that it's not too late. I'm holding out with hope. I'm holding out with hope. Holding out with hope. Oh yeah.
That's right. Oh, all right. Amazing. Awesome stuff there. Thad Requet.
Yeah.
And Scott Donegan helping out. And wonderful stuff, all right? Great record, and appreciate you guys being here. And we're going to hand it over here to Ross Schummer real quick. But Thad Requet, if you want to find you, Instagram, Facebook, whatever.
Facebook, YouTube, I got all kinds of stuff on
And it's
YouTube.
Thad, THADREQUET, Thad Requet.
Yep.
Or Requet.
Yep, Requet. REQUET. Yeah, ET.
Very good. Hope for a better day. All right, Scott, cheers, dude. Awesome. Memphis Chris,
Awesome,
Chris,
fellas.
get us out of here. We're back next week with Highway Demon and a bunch of other cool stuff coming up over the next few weeks, but we'll talk about that another day. All right, check it out on the web and get the podcast. All right, cheers.
Open mic radio.